the best show to talk about my faction. Can get the Max reactions. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to My Faction Reaction. You're here with Nathan once again. How's everybody doing today? So we're 5 months into WWE 2K25. And I think now it's time we start talking about what we'd like to see in 2K26. The honest truth is, with a yearly development schedule, 2K doesn't have a lot of time. So as soon as they ship the game, they start planning next year's game. And I thought it would be good, based on feedback I've seen, and I've collected feedback from a Reddit group and my Discord. Make sure you join the Discord, by the way. I'll include the link in the video. About what we'd like to see in 2K26 in regards to MyFaction. Before I jump into this will be strictly limited to MyFaction. I may do another video down the line on what we'd like to see in 2K26 as a whole, but right now I wanted to keep, for the length of time, just down to MyFaction content. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into the first one. All right, one of the major pieces that I would like to see be done with is card packs themselves. I think they are essentially loot box style system, which most games have moved away from, is outdated, and a lot of countries are actually trying to regulate in different ways, which has actually forced a lot of companies to remove them in general. So I think this would be a wise decision for 2K26. What they could have instead, and I've got Fortnite up here, just to go over what it could look like, but a battle pass system itself. Within that battle pass system, you could have like 2 times a month, and basically it would encourage consistent play in MyFaction, where you'd be earning points towards your battle pass and getting experience for it. Things that could be included in the battle pass would be MFP, tokens, faction war points, regular cards, persona cards, cosmetics. So you could have a ton of different things within the battle pass itself that would make it great. And what else? You could also keep the older battle passes for purchase at a later point. That way, if there's a really cool card that somebody wants to buy, they may go back in and decide that they want to buy that battle pass. I know that's something that Halo Infinite did upon when it launched with its multiplayer, so that you could go in and actually get those. And then actually do repeat encore boss battles, and not just like one time. Have them bounce in and out of the store like every few months. That way, if a battle pass shows up and there's a persona card you want in the battle pass, or in a live event, some people may go and purchase that battle pass at that point, even if they're late to the game and they're just coming in. I think it would be a great solution all around, and really get away from what has made a lot of people very unhappy with the MyFaction mode in the past. Now, if we're going to keep the card-based system the way it is, there's definitely a few changes that they probably need to make. One of the biggest ones is actually the cost of the card packs themselves. For whatever reason this year, card packs doubled instantly 1 week over another, where we were looking at about 240,000 for a 20 bucks, and then all of a sudden jumped up to 540,000, which was insane. And this is more expensive than any card pack that was available in 2K24 at the end of its life cycle that included Galaxy Opal cards, some of the best cards in the game. So this price hike was just unconceivable at the time. So that is something that, like, I've gotten a lot of feedback, which obviously we would like to see done. The other thing that I'm hearing a lot about is actually, and I mean here, like, what I've heard of it is compared to Genshin Impact, but Genshin Impact would guarantee big pulls after a number set of tries. So if you open a number of card packs and you're not getting what you want out of that card pack, you are actually guaranteed after so many card packs to be able to pull a bigger card. So that would be something that people would like to see in there. Something else that I'd like to see happen is actually do away with duplicate MFP completely. Instead, let you keep those duplicate cards and then have an online auction system where you can actually auction off your card for MFP or to trade with another player who's got the card that you are looking for to complete your set. I think a lot of people would prefer that. So if you're still opening up card packs, instead of giving very little, because they have reduced duplicate prices as well this year. It used to be last year, if you opened up like the highest variety card, you would be able to open up a card pack. That is not the case anymore. In fact, you maybe would get like a third of the MFP to open up a new card pack this year, but actually just let people trade within an online auction system for the cards that they are looking for to complete their. We could use some updating within the game modes. Now, World Tour was a great addition this year. Unfortunately, it's received one update in 5 months, adding more content to it, which is just frankly a disappointment. In fact, it's been over 3 months since the last update to World Tour, which is just very disappointing. So with a live service game, you'd like to see more content like that coming up. Within Faction Wars, I actually think they've got Faction Wars in a pretty good place right now. But what I'd like to see is more match variety. Right now, it's the same matches you're seeing over and over again. A casket match, a one-on-one match. If it's a tag team match, it's just a plain tag team match. If it's a if it's a three-way tag, it's either going to be normal or it's going to be a TLC match. If it's a 4-on-4, it's just going to be the same match over and over again. There are NXT Underground matches, but you know what? Table matches aren't there. Ambulance matches aren't there. There's no Hell in a Cell. I don't know how you do Elimination Chamber, but there is an Elimination Chamber. There's no Battle Royales. Although Battle Royale would be kind of risky in this mode. I don't know if I'd love if I got eliminated for that and would lose my run, but it would add a little bit more stakes to it. So let's actually go in and get those match types updated themselves. And then weekly towers. These are pretty good for the most part. I would like to see some better rewards coming out of them as we go through here. We're so far into the year and we're getting 3,000 MFP out of a regular out of a match on week 25. That's not even a tenth of what a card pack costs. Like, that is virtually no MFP. So that is something that they really need to look at. Same with the card packs. They're including basic card packs. I'd like to see the deluxe card packs in there. And then the cards themselves need to keep up with what's current. Like at the current moment, we're getting diamond cards out of our card packs that can be awarded. So when we get a ruby out of a card pack, it means that nobody's really going to use this. Now, this was an evolution card and did actually evolve up to an amethyst. But to my point, still at that point, it's not as usable. The other thing that we'd like to see within Faction Wars itself is a change to the Faction War cards. Because at the current moment, and we can go through the cards themselves, none of these cards are cards that you're going to want to use when you actually play the game, whether it be in ranked or online within Faction Wars, because they just aren't great. When you look at the badges on them, they're very basic. They're behind the curve in what's being offered. We just started to get amethyst cards. There's 4 that are available at the current moment in the shop. And none of these cards are as good as cards that I've already received from live events or card packs. So really look at the cards instead of just putting a bunch of cards for variety's sake to have a bunch in there. Actually make them more meaningful when you're putting them in here. Next up, let's talk about ranked mode itself. I did a whole video on this. I'll include a link somewhere here to that, but ranked mode just isn't fun. There's a lot of problems with it. And I started thinking about how we could fix that afterwards within 2K26. And the honest truth is, let's just get rid of ranked mode in general. Right now, it's a compete to win, abuse the glitch to try and get as high in the leaderboard as you can for rewards. I don't think it really incentivizes players to want to play it. It makes them want to get to the top by any means necessary, which I think is defeating the whole purpose of the mode, because the game's just supposed to be fun. So instead, what I would do is replace it with a sandbox online mode, where essentially you're just trying to score points by completing a variety of actions within the match. So the star system in the top corner, which was really, for the most part, pointless within the game. I don't understand why it's there. This would actually make sense. The higher the stars you get, the more points you would get out of that battle, which would go towards potentially your battle pass and some maybe ranked rewards that are in there the more you play it. It would encourage players to have more variety within their play styles, to experiment more, to do more dives, to use different weapons, to utilize parts of the matches that they just probably aren't using. And it would also stop people from just having to win at no cost. The initial opening of this season's gameplay was riddled with people using the hammer glitch to just try and get ahead in the game to maximize their ranking. And I think this would help out considerably and making it more fun to play. People would use the stipulations more, and I think people just have a great time overall with that type of mode instead of just what it is at the current moment. Now, live events are another thing that have taken a hit this year, specifically midway throughout the year, because at the beginning of the year, everything seemed very similar to what they were doing in 2K24. We were getting potentially redoing the match, same match over 4 times, but we would get 4 sets of rewards out of it. And one would be the Apex reward, which would be like the top tier reward. Unfortunately, they walked away from that for the most part. Like, so for birthday events, we used to be able to hit square and it would pop up, here's the 4 different options. We do the event 4 different times and we get 4 different rewards out of it. Adding a little bit more real playability to the event, but making it a bit easier. Same with the boss battles that would happen. Now, to their credit, recently with the new SummerSlam packs, we have seen that return, and you can see that here. They had been missing on some of the more basic SummerSlam matches, the men's and women's one. So I'm glad to see that those have returned. But Ultimate Challenges were giving 10 rewards, and we were doing it multiple times with 10 different options and lots of card packs that could be free to unlock. And all the live events had that. And as we go through here, you can see that there are pretty much no Apex rewards as you go through on most of these matches. The SummerSlam, the Smash and Stash also, I think, had 10 different options with it initially, and they've now reduced that down to 4. So there's just been an initial decline in rewards themselves from doing these events. And we'd like to see that change itself. The other thing that I've heard is that some of the events may be a little bit too difficult for people. And especially like some of those Superstar of the Month matches, when we first started the game with John Cena, the one to get Sami Zayn and Undertaker were very, very difficult right at the beginning. And maybe have a few tiered difficulty methods for people so that they don't feel quite locked out, but change the rewards based upon what they get out of it. So that would be good. And then for our DLC pack rewards, I would actually like to see these go back to having a multi-tiered rewards as well. For the DLC pack, the New Wave pack that featured Julia, Stephanie Vicaire, and the Motor City Machine Guns. And I guess technically that will include El Grande Americano when he comes out in September. But there was no event. He has not come out yet. There was Apex rewards with that, and there were some good rewards. I believe there was a deluxe pack, a basic pack, and some MFP rewards for it. Right now, when you do those for DLC you've paid extra money for, you're only getting a basic amount of MFP for those. And I would like to see that. I know some people have requested making all the events playable without paywalls so that you don't have to get specific cards. I'm not sure if that's possible. But I think something like a battle pass system where you know that you can earn the card that you're trying to get would make a lot more sense so that people feel like they can get to the card before the event finishes that they're looking for, that they need. And at the same time, make events reappear. So events from like 3 months ago, have them pop in more than just the one encore that you would get. Once again, you'd have people investing more trying to pull those cards than you would before. Now, one of the biggest issues within MyFaction is that you can actually only earn MFP within MyFaction. It feels like you can't actually... Like, I shouldn't be playing the other modes because time spent playing those modes does not net me any MyFaction points, which makes, like, as somebody who focuses on the mode, feels like it makes the rest a waste of time. So what I would do is actually add some MyFaction point rewards to every single thing you do. So if you're doing just playing a regular match, you get so much MyFaction points from playing the match. When you're doing My Rise and you're completing the My Rise campaign, you include MyFaction points. Same with Showcase. When you beat a Showcase game, it does gives you MyFaction points. My GM and Universe, same thing. Like, you want to reward players and give them those points, no matter if they're in the MyFaction mode or not. Now, I didn't include the island because the island does gift VC for completing certain actions on a daily and weekly basis and doing the matches. But it would be great if there was some MFP that would be spendable in there. But what you're also doing is, for players that mainly play Universe or My Rise, all of a sudden they may realize that they have a ton of MyFaction points and actually go into MyFaction and look at purchasing one of the battle passes or card packs or whatever you have there. It would just make everything seem a little bit more cohesive within the game itself. Another thing I saw pop up was actually turning MyFaction into its own game itself. Essentially, what that means, it would be a free cross-year game with card carryover, similar to what they're doing with WWE Supercard on mobile. And I've seen this pop up a lot in this thought process, because this is essentially a live service, whether 2K would like to say that or not. This is a live service mode. And I think there is a bit of disillusion when you get to the end of the year and you find out that none of your progress is carrying over from one year to the next. So for me, that would be kind of cool. You get more players involved, you get more players purchasing it, you limit them just to playing the MyFaction mode itself, so they don't get access to anything else within the game, just the MyFaction. But it also may get people buying battle passes because it is, or card packs, because it is free to play. And I think that's the major focus there. The other thing that could happen, and look, this is probably not going to happen, this is more of a WWE game thing in general, is that they start skipping years. They obviously skipped years from 2K20 until they released 2K22. Now, that was for a myriad of issues, including 2K20 just not hitting the market anyway, and kind of being a laughingstock when it came out because of the amount of glitches and bugs that it contained. But 2K itself does have a franchise that does not come out annually, and that is PGA Tour. I actually platinum PGA Tour 21 and PGA Tour 23. There was not a 22. There's not a 24. There is a 25. So PGA Tour 25 is now available. But if you went to that and extended your life cycle of the games themselves, and maybe had like a yearly patch that you could download that would update your character rosters, potentially eliminating old characters, which people would not love, but also adding in the new and updated rosters, I think people would really appreciate that. But if you did a standalone MyFaction mode, that would be really interesting. And potentially you get a bunch of lapsed players who haven't played a WWE game in for quite a while, just testing out the mode and seeing how the game feels. And it might even lead to them purchasing the whole game itself. All right, and that wraps up what I'd like to see 2K26 doing with MyFaction as it comes out probably next March, just before WrestleMania season seems to be the thing. There's a lot of polls here, and I want to thank the communities that helped poll some of these suggestions and figure out exactly what we should be doing within this game. Now, at the end of the day, this means nothing. This is a wish list, a suggestion list. I can only hope the developers at 2K get this and see this and go, here's some good content or feedback for the game itself. And I don't even know at what point they are in terms of planning next year's game and where they are with MyFaction. Because they may just try a copy and paste and reuse the same thing over again. But that being said, I don't know. This is a bit of a different video for me, definitely more editorial, and I've done some more of those. But I'd like to know your feedback. What did you guys think of the video? What, in the comments, let me know what I missed. What do you want to see? I know people brought up briefcases. I don't know. Briefcases were before my time in MyFaction. I really started midway through last year, so it's not something where I've got a really good foundation to talk about them with. But what am I missing here that should be in 2K26? And if you're a developer for the game, number one, thank you for watching the video. But number two, I hope you use some of this feedback and find some of it helpful. I think the community, it means a lot to the community. So If you like this video, hit the like button. More importantly, hit that subscribe button. It allows me to continue making great content like this. I really like doing these, and it helps me out so much. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to join the Discord. It's in the link, or it's in the description. You want to make sure you get there. And I've done it before. I'll do it again. I just want to give Kenny Bomb a shout out. I've done it on the live streams I've done. But if you guys aren't familiar, check out Kenny Bomb on YouTube. He recently shouted me out in one of his videos in terms of he used one of my pack openings for the SummerSlam pack, and I just want to say thank you to him for including that. Means the world to me. We're still a small channel. We're a few months old, and we're really trying to grow this channel, and that just helped tremendously, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you so much, Kenny Bomb. That being said, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye.